I never imagined my life could collapse so quickly. One day, I was at the top of my game, a respected project manager, a loving husband, and a proud father, too. My life looked perfect from the outside. But deep down, something dark was already brewing beneath that illusion of success. My boss, Richard, was a man everyone admired. Charismatic, wealthy, and confident. He had the kind of presence that made everyone in the room take notice. I used to respect him, even look up to him. But I had no idea that this man would soon take everything from me. My job, my wife, and my children. It started subtly. Richard began taking credit for my work. Small projects at first, then full campaigns that I had built from the ground up. When I confronted him, he smiled and told me it was teamwork. I brushed it off, trying to protect my career. I had a family to feed. I didn't realize then that this was only the beginning. Richard began inviting my wife, Clara, to corporate events. He said it was great networking. She seemed flattered, and I thought nothing of it. But over time, she started changing. Her texts grew shorter, her tone colder, and her smile, once so warm, felt forced. The distance between us grew wider with each passing day. One night, Clara didn't come home. I stayed up all night waiting, calling, worrying. When she finally walked to the door in the morning, I could tell immediately something had shifted. Her eyes didn't hold love anymore. She sat me down and said, "I think we need a break." And then came the words that shattered me completely. She had been seeing someone else. When she said his name, my heart stopped. It was Richard, my own boss, the man I had trusted, respected, even defended. From that moment on, my life fell apart piece by piece. Richard used his influence to push me out of the company. Rumors started spreading about my performance, my attitude, even my mental health. Within weeks, I was unemployed, and soon after, Clara filed for divorce. She had money, lawyers, and the full support of Richard's connections. I fought as hard as I could, but the system was against me. I lost custody of my kids. I lost my home. I lost everything. I remember one night, sitting in a cheap, moldy motel room, staring at my reflection in a cracked mirror. My shirt was wrinkled, my eyes hollow. I didn't even recognize the man staring back. I felt completely defeated. But life has a strange way of testing us before it transforms us. One evening, I received a letter in the mail. It was from my late Uncle Samuel, a man I hadn't spoken to in years. He had passed away months earlier, but this letter had been delayed in the system. Inside was a small metal key and an address. I didn't know what to expect, but I had nothing left to lose. I drove to the address, a quiet, dusty storage unit on the edge of town. Inside, I found boxes stacked to the ceiling, old papers, photos, and business records. Then, in one small box labeled private, I found something that changed everything. There were documents, property deeds, bank statements, and trust records. My uncle had left behind a fortune worth over $55 million, and he had named me as his only heir. For the first time in years, I felt hope, but I didn't use the money to run away or start over. I wanted justice. I hired a team of private investigators and accountants. What they uncovered about Richard and his company was beyond shocking. Fraud, tax evasion, bribery. The same man who had destroyed my life was living off corruption and lies. I gathered every piece of evidence and, with the help of my uncle's old lawyer, handed everything over to the authorities. It took months, but when the truth finally came out, it was explosive. Richard was arrested for embezzlement and fraud. His company collapsed. His reputation, gone overnight. The man who once stood above everyone else was now behind bars. Clara tried to reach out to me after that. She said she had made a mistake, that she wanted to talk, to apologize, but I didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. She had made her choice, and I had found peace of mind. Today, I live quietly, far away from the chaos that once consumed me. I've used part of my inheritance to start a foundation in my uncle's name, helping people who have lost everything. People like I once was. I've learned that revenge doesn't always mean hurting someone back. Sometimes It's simply rebuilding yourself so powerfully that the people who broke you can no longer reach your level. My boss stole my wife, my job, and even my children. But in the end, I found something far greater: strength, peace, and purpose. Life took everything from me, only to give me something much more valuable: the power to start again.